I'm going to explain this exercise in isla vowel and consonant combinations. So I'm going to switch to a PDF file. So it starts off by saying that these are not isla words, these are just made up words, but they show how vowels are affected by consonants. Vowel sounds in isla can change depending on the letter that's in front of them. So before I get into all of the examples that I've made up here, I want to skip to the second page where the sounds are explained. So there's a note here that phonetic spelling is used in place of IPA for illustration purposes only. So IPA stands for International Phonetic Alphabet. So these are special symbols that are used for a lot of languages in the world that accurately reflect the sounds. So they're not all English letters. There's lots of special symbols that represent certain sounds. And it's something that I prefer to use sometimes, but basically the section that I'm talking about here is this one here. So it's actually highlighting all three of these columns, but it's just this last one that I want to point out. So I'm using what's called phonetic spelling here, which is something I don't normally do, but for the purposes of accessibility and making it a little bit easier to understand, it's kind of difficult to write these in a way that accurately reflects the actual sound. But I'll start off over here. So we have regular vowels that have their own regular sound. So an A in its regular form sounds like ah, like in the word ball or father. Ah. A says ah under normal circumstances. E sounds like the in but. E says ah. The letter I actually sounds like E, like in the word beat. I says E. And a regular U sounds like oo, as in the word boot. U says oo. So A sounds like ah. E sounds like ah. I sounds like E. U sounds like oo. So those are regular vowels. So the vowels can change depending on what's around them. So we have what we call retracted vowels. So this only applies to the letters I and U. So if I or U come after these letters here, then they sound differently. They'll sound like A. Like an I will sound like A, like bake. A U will sound like oo or O, as in boat. And then there's a star here beside this glottalized P, which means that it only affects the letter I. So a G bar and an I sounds like gay. A G bar and a U sounds like go. H I, hey. H U, ho. An ejective P and an I sounds like bay. Q I, K, Q U, ko. Ejective K I, K, ejective Q U, go. Te, to. Te, to. He, ho. And an apostrophe in front of an I will make it sound like A. Apostrophe U sounds like O. There's also what we call palatal velar sounds. So these are G, K, ejective K, and X. So an A after these letters sounds like gya, kya, kya, hya. An E after a palatal velar sound, this IH is meant to sound like I. You can see there's a star after this one here. So this is meant to sound like ki, as in the English word kit. So that's what I was talking about with difficulties in using phonetic spelling as opposed to IPA. In IPA, this sound would be a small capital I. So a small capital I sounds like I, but I didn't want to use IPA, so I used phonetic spelling, which I usually stay away from, but I used only for this exercise. So G-E, ge. K-E, ki. Ejective K-E, ki. X-E, hi. And then I, so we have gi, ki, ki, he. And then a U, we have gu, q, q, hu. So you notice that after a G or K, ejective K or X, an A kind of has a y sound in front of it. So gya, kya, hya, or gya, kya, kya, hya. And the same with U. It has a y sound in front of the U sound. Gu, q, q, hu. There's also a situation where a letter U after a rounded consonant becomes a plain consonant. So it loses the little raised W. So a rounded G and the letter U sound like gu, ku, ku, hu. And then we have a rounded G bar and a U, gu, ku, ku, hu. So that explains the regular sounds and all of the different variations. So if we go into the examples, these are put into categories according to how these sounds are made. So labial sounds are B, P, so those are regular consonants. We have an ejective P, regular M, then a glottalized M. So if we look at this first one, BA sounds like ba, BE sounds like ba, BI sounds like B, BU sounds like boo. It's the same with the P, pa, pa, P, poo. Once we get to the ejective P, there's a difference. So if you remember, where I talked about retracted vowels, we have a P with an apostrophe on top is going to affect the letter I. So going back up to my examples. So an ejective P and I are going to sound like pay. A regular P and I sounds like P. So P, pay. So if you say them all together, you get pa, pa, pay, poo. For the M, we have ma, ma, mi, mu. Glottalized M, ma, ma, mi, mu. So you notice there's a little pause in front of every M that has an apostrophe on top of it. That's why it's called a glottalized M is because you're putting a little pause in front of the M. You're closing your glottis, which is the opening between your vocal cords. So you're essentially holding your breath very quickly. So ma, ma, mi, mu. With the alveolars, da, da, di, do. And then we have the letter T. It's going to affect the I and the U. So the I is going to sound like A. The U is going to sound like O. So all together it's ta, ta, te, to. Same with the ejective T's. Ta, ta, te, to. For the N, regular N, we have na, na, ni, nu. The the glottalized N, again, we're going to have a little pause in front of each of these N's. Na, na, ni, nu. For the affricate sounds, we have da. So a Z in high slick illa sounds like a D and a Z together. So this is da, 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 Z, do. And the letter C sounds like a T and an S together. T. So all together we have ta, ta, ti, tu. Next up is an ejective C, which sounds like t. So all together it's ta, ta, ti, tu. And then S, sa, sa, si, su. Also, some of these combinations do happen in Heisler words in this order. So if you have S-A-S and then an E, and you add the letter M, you have sa-sum. Sa, S-A, sa, S-E, sa. Sa-sum. Sa-sum. For the lateral sounds, the lambda sounds like a D and an L together. Dla. So the lambda and A, dla. Lambda E, dla. Lambda I, glee. Lambda U, dlu. All together, gla, dla, glee, dlu. We have the barred lambda next. It sounds like a T and an L together. Tla. So all together, tla, tla, tli, tlu. Next is the ejective barred lambda. It's like a T and an L together, but it's more of an explosive sound, like. So all together, tla, tla, tli, tlu. This is the tilted L. It makes a sound. So this is thla, thla, thli, thlu. That regular L is just like the L in English, so it's la, la, li, lu. And then we have the glottalized L. Again, there's going to be a little pause in front of each L. So it sounds like la, la, li, lu. The palatal velar sounds. So and there's going to be kind of a y sound before the A and before the U. All together, gya, gi, gi, gyu. It's very similar with the K, but it's a harder sound than g. So it's going to be kya, ki, ki, ku. Ejective K, kya, ki, ki, Q. An X, a regular X, sounds like it's kind of like an H, but it's higher. It's almost like a hissing sound. So altogether, hya, he, he, hu. The Y is just like the Y in English, a regular Y. Ya, ya, ye, you. Glottalized Y, ya, ya, ye, you. Then we have rounded velar sounds. So these are the palatal sounds, but they have a small raised W coming afterwards. Sounds like gua, gua, gui, gu. So I mentioned before that a U after a rounded consonant cancels out this W, the small raised W, which would make a W sound. So it's not gu. You ignore this small raised W and you say gu. And it's the same for the rounded K. Qua, qua, qui, ku. Next is the ejective rounded K. Qua, qua, qui, ku. Next is a rounded X. Hua, hua, hui, hu. Regular W. Wa, wa, we, wu. Glottalized W. Wa, wa, we, wu. Next we have rounded velars, or rounded uvulars. Gua, gua, gui, gu. So again, we're ignoring this small raised W. And the same with the Q. Qua, qua, qui, ku. Next is the ejective rounded Q. Qua, qua, qui, ku. And then we have the rounded X bar. Hua, hua, hui, hu. The next group of sounds are the uvular sounds. So we start off with the G bar. Ga, ga, ge, go. So you noticed that the I after the G bar doesn't sound like E, it sounds like A. And the U sounds like O. And it's the same for the Q. Ka, ka, ke, ko. Ejective Q. Ka, ka, ke, ko. X bar. Ha, ha, he, ho. And then we have laryngeal sounds. So the apostrophe is a laryngeal sound. It's the deepest sound. And we have the apostrophe in front of each vowel. So it's a, a, o. And then H. Ha, ha, he, ho. So these are single vowels. On the next page, we have vowel combinations. So we have a double A, AI, and AU. So double A is a long A. Ah. AI, eh. Like met, pet, bet, set in English. AU sounds like oh. So it's not an O sound. It's not an ah sound. It's kind of in between. Oh. And also there's a note here that says some of these sound combinations do not exist in high slick ella. This is only an exercise to show how they would sound if they were together. So we have ba, be, bo, pa, pe, po, pa, pe, o, ma, me, mo, ma, me, mo. Da, de, do. Ta, te, to. Ta, te, to. Na, ne, no. Na, ne, no. This combination here actually is a Isla word. Ne means snow on the ground. Then we have da, de, do. Ta, te, to. Ta, te, to. Sa, se, so. Tla, tle, tlo. Tla, tle, tlo. Tla, tle, tlo. Tla, tle, tlo. La, le, lo. La, le, lo. Gya, ye, gyo. Kya, kye, kyo. Kya, kye, kyo. Hya, hye, hyo. Ya, ye, yo. Ya, ye, yo. Gwa, gwe, go. Kwa, kwe, ko. And then the ejective rounded K is kwa, kwe, ko. Hwa, hwe, ho. Wa, we, wo. Wa, we, wo. Gwa, gwe, go. Kwa, kwe, ko. Kwa, kwe, ko. Hwa, hwe, ho. Ga, ge, go. So this, if you add an X bar to the end, it becomes gah, gah, which is raven. And then we have Q, ka, ke, ko. Ka, ke, ko. Ha, he, ho. A, e, o. Ha, he, ho. So you noticed with these vowel combinations, I kind of drew them out a little bit more because they are longer vowels. The A and A together is ah, so it's a little bit longer than ah. So a single A is ah. A double A is ah. So that's the explanation of this Isla vowel and consonant combination exercise. Wah.